Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Uh, Basically, we're looking at a dollar index going higher, and we're looking at interest rates dropping at the same time. Very interesting. The Fed, I guess what it really comes down to is the Federal Reserve has yesterday made it very clear. Because it was yesterday. Yeah, I guess it was yesterday, 2:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, was it, or Wednesday? Wednesday. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday made it very clear they're going to cut rates 3 times this year. Hard to believe, but that's what they said. They're planning on doing it. That's what they said, planning on doing it. And 6 cuts or 5 cuts or something like that over the next couple years. So, we're looking at a market that most people don't believe they will do that. But they're saying they're doing it. So money managers, which are paid to invest people's money, are rushing in and investing that money. That's what it comes down to. And I know it's the strangest thing, but it is what it is, and that's how it's been going along. And so, I'm looking at, I was really surprised. I thought for sure that the 30-year bond, not the 30-year bond, but I thought the 30-year bond would be down, but it's up. Let's just show you that. Where's that mouse at? Right there. I'm going to just do go like that, right there. And so there's the 30-year bond right there. It's up. Right there. You can see a second day in a buy. And in the dollar index, doing the same exact thing. Second day in a buy, and it's lifting up. And I'm thinking to myself, that is very unique. This is the Federal Reserve talking the market up. We all know that there's a Fed put. We know that the Fed protects the stock market, tries to protect the dollar in some form or another by, I want to say, intimidating, or just what they do is they don't intimidate. What they do is they lend money. They just lend lots of money to people. Banks and institutions and mutual funds and hedge funds. They lend money to them for free, and they're lending money overnight to them to keep the markets propped up, which is truly amazing in its own right. Just totally amazing, and it's so unique. And it's so just. Oh, look at that! We got a bunch of people. Oh no, is there a bunch? Hey, Robin, I see that one. The Academy. I will be doing some administrative work in the background, listening. Excellent. And then there's Janos. And everybody, oh, good. This is really good. So, I talk about the Fed a lot lately because they're the ones making the noise, They're the ones doing all this. They're putting the pressure into the market. That's really what it comes down to. Is they're putting all the pressure in a positive way for the market to go up, and for the dollar to stay firm, and interest rates to stay flat. Things like that, and it's fascinating, just totally fascinating. And when I say this, many a time it sounds like I'm just rambling or something of that nature, but. Can you imagine that the Federal Reserve gives Citadel, one of the largest successful market participants, in other words, they make markets in all kinds of products, options and stocks and commodities and so forth. They're a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. They lend them overnight for free $1 billion to keep them invested, to hold the positions. In other words, if you remove the sellers, then what will the market do? It'll go up. And so all these funds have free money from the Federal Reserve. We see it published every so often. The media just chooses not to talk about it, which is totally, it's just wild, just exotically wild. There's no other way to describe it but exotically wild. And so that's what we're looking at right now. And it is, it's the very uniqueness of it all. It's very unique, and it's hard to comprehend because you kind of, a lot of people, for a long time there were free markets and free people, and the exchanges ran the markets, and the public ran the markets, and the funds ran the markets. It was a combination. It was a battle between all of them. It was wonderful, because you had a open market, and now you have the central banks across the planet that are running the markets, and the rest of them just follow along, and they basically, I don't want to call it bribe, but what they do is they just give them free money every night, and then they don't take it back the next day, and they tell them, what, we're leaving that money there tonight, and then it'll be there on Monday morning, and it's going to be there Tuesday probably, but we'll let you know when we're finally going to, what they call them repos, where they repossess or they move money in and out. They used to do that. The central bank would do that. They would lend money to banks overnight, and they would and how do they do that mechanically? What they do is they go to the banks and they say, here, you have all those bonds. We'd like to buy those bonds you have from you, and we're going to give you a lot of cash. And then you can take that cash and lend it to lenders, or buy more bonds, that type of thing. And then when they felt like the economy was getting too hot, they would call it like taking the punch bowl away from the party, and they would go the reverse. They would say, "Here's your bonds, give us the cash back," and that would be the way they do it. And that's how the Fed in the United States, the central bank, does that. It's not the Treasury as much as it's the Federal Reserve. So they plow money into the banking system that way, and now everything is a banking system. I was saying to somebody last night from one of the majors at a get-together, one of the top 5 brokerage houses in the world, and I was saying to them, they're like a $3 or $4 trillion operation. They're the smallest of the majors, and they were talking about how they're trying to always figure their way around the banking situation, because they don't like being a bank. They like to be a market fund, and so it just goes on and on and on like that. Anyhow, that's what we're seeing here. And today, what we're seeing is up on the beta platform, and let's put it up also on the right there, the old platform right there. There's the dollar index, and let's show it to you again. Where's that mouse at? Wrong mouse. There it is. There you are. And there is that's the dollar index. And you can see it's going into the weekly buy. Let's see, is it doing it on the beta? They may be doing that on the beta too. Not yet on the beta. It's still a day behind on the beta. And let's see, what do we got here? James, I'm seeing some flashes coming across the chat line in different places. Let's see. That's there. Okay, well, okay. So, there is the dollar index, and it's just lifting up very comfortably, which is odd to me. And then when you go and look at the bond, we'll show you here. There's the 30-year bond. This is U.S. Treasury. It's looking very firm at the highs of the day at 119.28. They trade in 30 seconds. Well, they actually trade in 64ths when given a chance. They will split it even. They will cut the price even tighter to 64ths. So there's 64 ticks in a handle from 119 to 120. And you can see this is a third day there in the buy, climbing easily into the weekly buy. And this is the interest rate. What that's telling us is when the price of the bond goes down, interest rates are rising. And when the price of the bond goes up, interest rates are dropping. Like that was right there, the price of the bond went down, interest rates were going up. And then when this made that move right there, that was the interest rates themselves going up. I'm sorry, going down, and the price of the bond going up. They do reverse. All right, so that is pretty much the market as we see it. And you've seen the dollar index. It's moving along firm and consistent. Let's shoot over to unless there's a question. Let's shoot over to let's see. Let's go over to the euro and see what the euro is up to this morning. Right there. And there's the euro selling down. When I saw that this morning, like 3 hours ago, I was like, wow. Huh. Then I had to go over and look at the bond. And saw the bond moving up in price. So interest rates were dropping. And, we just, it's that whole rhythm over and over and over again. Oh, that's interesting. What's it? Sanja P says volume and price both are supporting each other. Best to buy. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see. What else can we say about any of that? All right. Let's jump over to. Let's see. Let's jump over to the euro again, and we're looking at that. And there's the euro moving down, so it's losing against the dollar. It's a second day in a sell, still holding up in the weekly buy. You see right there, just holding on. Not too bad. The green line is just on the top part of the manifold. The fast is moving down. It's giving us a little warning, but nothing major there. And then we slip over to. Let's see. Let's take a look at it on the intraday itself, just to see what's going on. And that's gold. There we are, right there. So there it is right there. What a nice move that's doing at the moment. That's the euro against the dollar. They've bounced off of that. Oh, doesn't that... I forgot all about that. That is that... Remember, we were watching the 108.40 area. I think we probably have the lines in there somewhere still. And we were watching that, watching it do the three, I guess, resistance areas. There it is, the 845 area right there. And so it obviously pounced its way through that. Let's see, where is the... I guess we have to just keep on contracting it. Okay, that's it. So it's broken down in there. It came down into that 108.10 area. And you can see that move right there on the intraday itself. Let's see, let's widen this out here so we can see. All right, so in this case here, it went into the buy right here or there. I guess it's right there. So what is that? That's that one right there. Went into the buy there or there. It's one or the other. Either one, it's the buy. And it's done that nice little move up. And that's your euro against the dollar right now. Holding very firm, very nice. And then, let's see, how else do we look at it at this point? I guess at this point in time, it's telling us that the dollar is firmer, plain and simple. That's what it comes down to. All right, from there we'll go over to cable and see what's going on with cable. And let's put the daily and the weekly up on that. There it is, right there. And so there is you see the same thing with the cable. The British pound is losing against the dollar. Second day in a sell, flirting towards this weekly sell. Maybe next week it might happen. That's an interesting something to even speculate about. The bigger question is, if we see these things go into weekly sells, that's very curious. Very curious. And they're buying dollars at the same time. Are they nervous about something? In other words, something seems a little odd that they're buying dollars so aggressively. That's the thing that's kind of surprising to me, is that they're buying the dollars. I guess as long as we stay underneath 107, there's no problem. But if they get past that 107 area, then something is brewing. Something really, I would say, kind of negative in a sense, is brewing, which is a real surprise to me. So, all right. From there, we will shoot over to. There we go. From there, let's just do this. Move that over to there. And we will, like that. There we go. Let's take a look at the Swiss franc. And I just want to take a quick look just to double check everything's moving along fine. There's cable and there's the intraday. Same bottom type of action. Went into the buy right somewhere's around here. And it's still in the buy. And if you're wondering why, it's because it's above the zero line. All these colors are above the zero line here. There's the zero line. All right. Now let's go over to the Swiss. There's the Swiss right there. Swissy. There's the Swiss. And the Swiss is very firm also. What a spike that was yesterday. They're fighting inflation. They dropped the interest rates a little bit, just a quarter percentage point. They're doing a good job with their inflation. Actually, things are working a little bit better. They basically took care of the inflation fight right at the beginning of the year, so 3 months ago. And so that's a very positive thing at this point, is that they didn't walk around saying it's transitory. Let's put it that way. It's really nice. They executed quickly, and 3 months went by, and boom, taken care of. And they now feel like they can drop, a quarter percentage point. And whereas here in the United States, we had the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, and the President trying to remind us for almost a year and a half that it was transitory. It's going to go away any day now. And here we are, still watching it climb. It's been climbing less, but it's still climbing. That's the problem. And that's okay if it's climbing. But when it climbed, we want it to sit underneath the 2% area, not above the 2% area. And at this point, it's over the 3% area. Heading for the 4% area, right on the edge of 4%. All right, so from there on the Swiss, and we go over to the yen. There's the yen. They are banging against that 45-year high. The stock market was up, at all-time highs. We're seeing a lot of movement into Japan because they actually are paying an interest rate. They call them the $20 trillion pairs trade because there's an enormous pairs trade going on by the Chinese government. That's how they borrow money, by floating it at incredibly low rates. Now, it has made stagflation in the country there. That's the only problem, is that it didn't help it. It only hurted it. It only hurt it. So it's kind of sad in some aspect like that, Really would be happier if we saw strength, not weakness. But that's the way it goes. And the economy there has been on a slow, steady twist, I guess you could call it. All right, from there, we shift over to, let's see, there's the yen. We're going to shift over to the Turkish lira. No one seems to be asking any questions about any particular product, so I see. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy, abide by our community guidelines. Okay, sure. So basically, there's more. Okay, now I'm seeing Sanjay P in a different spot. And most important about Apple after yesterday's news. Yeah, okay, what is up with AMD, NVO, and CVX and Apple? Let's take a look at them. We're going to, before we go look, there's the Turkish lira right there. You can see it's in a daily sell for 2 days. It's the end of the week, and it's obviously nowhere near going into a weekly sell, so it's just going to be, it's over half a year now on a weekly buy. Let's go over and check out what Dukascopy Academy is looking for. Let's take a look at those stocks. Open workspace and go there. And while we're going there, we can go look at NVO very easily. NVO is right here. We keep that on this piece. I know Jonas likes looking at it. So NVO right there. There's NVO. And NVO, you can see, is in a daily buy for 2 days and holding up, but look at it. It's at one of the lowest points we've seen since January on the weekly. It's through the manifold there for the first time since the first and last week of December and first week of January. And you can see it's trying to press down. Back then it was $100 stock, and it has run as high as almost up to 140. It's like the 138 area, something like that. And now we are at 129, and we're in a daily buy. Let's see, let's just take one of these daily buys. Went into the daily buy. No, not there. No, basically right there. It's trying to go into the daily buy. It went into the daily buy yesterday. Is today the 22nd? No. It's trying to go into the daily buy today. That's what it's trying to do. It's still on the daily sell. Let's put that in right there. It went into the daily sell there. It's been working its way down, and even with the manifold, with the algorithm itself trying to get through the zero line, the red dots are telling you no. Now this here, if it closes here today, it goes back into the buy, and it's in the weekly buy. Like I said, the only thing is you're seeing this weakness in it. This is the worst we've seen NVO in 3 months. So there's NVO. Now let's go over to AMD. There's AMD. And AMD is trying to go down as we speak. It's been in a sell since here, since that peak. And we are, you can see the fast algorithm on the weekly has broken cleanly through the zero line. And the slow is just inching its way down. It's still above the zero line, but not letting go. And let's go see Apple. Apple Dapple. Is it on this one, or do I have to open up somewhere else? Okay. Let's go over here. Oh, and let's put it up. We can throw it up on the beta too. There's the Apple, just to give you that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go look at it up on the old platform too at the same time. Let me just show it to you right there. There it's on the beta. We just threw it up on the beta. You see right here. I think it went into the buy for a day and a half, and now it's pressing down again into the sell. It went into the sell yesterday, and it's it's breaking down again. When I really look at it and think about it, I've followed Apple for so many years and decades. I don't see it as bad. It's just that we're used to an Apple that's the leader of the marketplace, and it's not the leader anymore of the marketplace. And so, it's I guess when they got kind of, being, they joined in with what do you call that? China. They moved a lot of things into China, and now they're starting to move them over to Vietnam and a few other places in India. But I guess, the economy there. Oh, I heard some horrible stuff, and that's really what's up with Apple, is the China problem. That's what it really comes down to. There's a China problem, and the China problem is that they just remember that Evergrande, that real estate market. They were $78 billion company that went bankrupt, and now they are charging the chairman of overinflating the company by 70%. So it's like an Enron situation that happened back in the 90s, going into 2000. It's like the Enron situation. So the question is, where did all that cash go? Where did all those billions go? And they couldn't find $15 million about 3 months ago. So when you have that situation going on with your one of your major markets, and there's no doubt that Apple has tons of cash on the side, but they're not, they're the lawsuits, and they're not growing as well as they could be. And that Apple sells phones, and the phones are like they get like something like a $30 or $40 a month fee from it, from the telephone companies that sell the Apple phones. There's a lot of moving parts to the Apple, and it's still a very valuable company. You see, well, it is now a case of extended decline or a recovery. I would say I think it's neither. I think it's stuck, because it's got like $175 billion in cash sitting in the sidelines. Has very low debt. The PE is incredibly low. I think it's like 3x or something. It's not like it's an Amazon or something where they're like, trading at like 30 times earnings or 40 times earnings. I think Apple trades at like 4 times earnings or 3 times earnings. It's a very tight market. It's almost like a utility. And so I kind of think that, we'll see it bounce around like this. As long as prices are high, in all the stocks, and the PEs are high, then I think that you're going to see, I don't know if you'll see 155, but you might see the 150s again. That would be like a 25% drop overall from its all-time high, and you got to assume they've lost a major market. China is not really providing much income anymore, and they're moving their factories and so forth out of there to places like India and Vietnam and so forth. So I kind of think it's stuck in a neutral position, and let's go show you. Where the hell is it at? Let's do this. Let's just close this. We don't need that intraday running. Close that. And then let's put this up on there. And right here is Apple. I went into a weekly buy. I think it was last week. We were in a weekly sell for 17 weeks. You see it on the sheet. So, I mean, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't. It was in a buy for all those times for running up to 100 and change. And then went into the weekly sell back in the mid 80s here. Okay. And I know it was in a daily sell from here to the was at the 87 area, 187 area. It's been in a daily sell for like 20 days. And then that's Wednesday. So Wednesday it pops, I guess because of earnings and so forth. And then now we went back into a sell yesterday right there. We're in the weekly sell now for 6 weeks. And we were in a daily sell for, I think it was 19 days. All the way back to mid-February. And then you can see went into the sell here, went into a buy one day with a pop, rolled over, went back into the sell again. Oh, you can't see any of that. Let me go over and look at this. You're not seeing it. There it is right there. All right, so you're seeing it here. It goes into the sell, the daily sell here, goes into a buy for a couple days there. And then this is it right here, where we go into the weekly sell at the same time. You see here, that's the 90 area. You're only talking about, $6-7 up, down from its all-time high. And then it goes into this daily sell for, I don't know, is it 10 days? Goes into a buy for one day and back into another one. And this one goes on for like 17 days or I think it was 19 days. And then we go into a buy here again. And look at the crush they put into it yesterday. They just punched it. Or was that today? Yeah, that's yesterday. So, they're putting that pressure on it, and it's in the weekly sell. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's, let me rephrase that. I don't think it's getting, if it goes down into the 50s, that's about all I expect, 48 or something like that. They just have way too much cash. They have earnings. Maybe the earnings are not great, but they have earnings. And so between all that cash and the earnings, money's not going to walk away from them. Let's put it that way. That's what it really comes down to. Money will not walk away from them. And so investors will be invested in it. They have some, they are a computer company, and they have a very solid computer market. I think they control 15 or 20% of the what they call home computers, and they have other tools, these goggles now and so forth. So I kind of doubt that we're going to see much more damage than that. In other words, get down into the 40s again, maybe at worst. And I think that also will coordinate with the rest of the economy too. Here, in other words, if they're selling stocks, then you'll see. Let's put it this way: it's one of the boats. It was at all-time highs no more than a few months ago. So it's not, it's not being shed. It's not. I don't expect to see them drop like 50% or something like that. 25 maybe. We're at 25 now. Maybe they drop to. Are we at 25 now? From 200? No. 25 would be 150. 25% down would be 150. So I kind of think that area will be the base basically. We'll see though, because if they start selling stocks and the Fed loses control, which I doubt, it's an election year. They're not. Why do you think Mr. Powell came out and said, "Hey, guess what? We're cutting 3 times this year"? when everybody's thinking they're not cutting at all this year. So, oh yeah, they're the most. They have been the most active call market in for years. They have daily options. They have 2-day options. They have weekly options. Incredibly active option market. It's an incredible it took over the IBM option market basically. A dude, see, in case of an extended decline and recovery. A dude on Twitter who was popular took 107. What they do? Bought the 175 calls, the 175 strike price for today's expiration. Where's the stock at right now? Is at 71.37. So it's got to go up $4. That'll be interesting. Let me go see where is it in the pre-market. Let me take a look and see where it's at in the pre-market. Where's that mouse at? There maybe. Let's see. Delete that. Delete that. All right, now let's see where they have Apple. AAPL in the pre-market. Right now it's trading at 172.07, up 68 cents. So 175 calls are, that's really tough. Wonder where let's see where the 175 calls are trading right now. That'd be interesting. Let's see, 175 options, Apple, Nasdaq, there we are. And let's see, this is today. The 175 calls. They closed at 13 cents last night. They're not trading yet. I'd imagine they're probably trading at 14 right now, or they'll open them up at 14. So that's those options you're talking about. The 175s that expire today. Now let's go over to did we do AMD? We did NVO. Let's see what AMD looks like. I saw Micron was up pretty well yesterday, 108 or something like that, $14. Micron Technologies. That's another good chip manufacturer. Let's see. Let's go over to that. Where is it? Right there. Let's see. There it is right there. Okay. So yeah, there's. Oh, this is AMD. We did look at AMD. And it's moving down. It's going after the weekly. Now let's take a look at CVX. Chevron? Yeah, Chevron. There's Chevron. Chevron kind of bouncing along up towards the highs. Oh, look at that. It's been in the sell for 3 days now. And this is that's showing today's market at 155.05. And it's going after the weekly sell. That's interesting too. Now this has been really sloppy in here. After that, strong run up a while back. I guess that's October of last year. Okay, yeah, that was like, when they had the oil way up and the stock went to like 190. And now it's come down from the 190s down to 140s. Okay, it went down to 140, came back up to 155, kind of hanging out. Wasn't a buy there for this move right there, and then slid into the sell right there. And it's going into the weekly sell right there on CVX. Okay. All right. What else was there? It was CVX, AMD, NVO, and Apple. There's your 4 products there. All right. Now from there, we'll slip over to. Let's see, where do we slip over to? And there's your Apple. Let me grab that and just put it in another spot so I don't have to open this up. Copy. Close. Yes. I'm going to stick it right there for the time being, in case you ask to take a look at it. Paste. There we are. All right. Now from there, we will slide. Let's see, where did we left off at? I guess we looked at the great experiment. So it's still in a weekly buy, in a daily sell for 2 days. Let's take a look at the South African Rand, and we'll take a look at the metals. So the metals are jumping all over the place in odd directions. Like silver went into a sell yesterday. Gold is in the buy. You got was it platinum went into a sell about 3 or 4 days ago, and you can see here they're making a pop up today again. It's so hard to judge with the South African Rand now. That issue, they've had so much issues now that it's hard to really identify. I honestly say, I say it all the time, I really believe that the South African Rand should be really trading in the 12s, the 13s because of the price of gold. So obviously, the fact that we're trading at 19 tells us that it's the politics down there that are really beating the economics of it all up. All right. Like I said, I wish the Zulus had gotten control of the country, not the ANC. Let's see. Let's go from there, we'll jump over to the metals market. Let's do that. We'll take a look at the metals market. We'll close that. There. There's intraday of the stock market. Let's see. Let's go over to right there. And there again, there is the S&P 500, the futures contract, holding very firm, 4 days in a buy, still in a weekly buy. Again, money has nowhere, they don't know where else to go. There is no other place to go at this point. They're paid to invest, they've got to invest, and the Fed is making it very easy for them to invest. All right, now let's take a look at gold right there. You see gold is holding up. It's a 3rd day in a buy, kind of just hovering along. Nothing major, in that sense. And then you can see over here, you can see silver slid into the sell yesterday, and it's basically just pressing down a little bit more, nothing major, but it's holding up in the weekly, just like gold. Gold is holding up in its weekly with no problem, right there. So, interesting. Buying dollars, buying metals. Definitely a lot of crazy going on there. And then from there, this, here's copper for the 3rd day going down. And, it's holding up the weekly, though. It's not getting knocked down that much. We always look at that as some type of indication of what's going on in China. But at this point in time, I'm not sure. We thought that the reason we saw it pick up and get going was because of China basically, what was it? China, maybe selling TikTok, and that we thought, oh, wow, that might be signs of, some real growth and the whole bit, but not really, I really did think at one point that country could use, $120 billion. They could use some dough at this point. So that kind of made me believe that at the time. So, all right, from there we go over to the platinum, and there's the platinum. And as you can see, platinum, is in a sell. It's flirting with the weekly sell. I would think, you see how this is? I would think that this product would be basically like that for a while, as long as the gold is holding up in this area. It's awful hard to want to sell platinum when you have gold trading around, in between $2,100 and $2,200. It is very, very hard to want to sell that product. I don't see how they can, but that's anything is possible in these markets anymore. Anything is possible. So from there, I guess that basically concludes the metals complex. And from the metals complex, we'll slide over to the energy sector. So let's put, let's see, right there is crude oil, May contract, lifting up today, but in a sell for the last 3 days overall, but it is lifting up. Let's switch to, let's put Brent in, there's Brent. Let's put it. It's up on the beta, so let's put it over there on the screen so you can see that. There we are. And there's the beta, and the beta is showing us, it's lifting up today, but, it's still in a sell for 2 days now, and on a weekly basis, you can see it's been in a buy for, what is that? That's 4. 8 weeks it's been in a weekly buy. So they're not, I have a hard time. Even the prices of oil, petrol for the automobiles has been jumping all over the place lately around here too. I mean, it's definitely, we are in strange times when it comes to the economics. We're just getting different action in different places constantly. It's not letting go. It just goes on and on and on. And it's hard to stop it. We see lots of strange input constantly going on, and there doesn't seem to be any way of changing it. That's the weird part out of it all. It's just constantly the same motif, action. I don't know, whatever you want to call it at this point. It's one moment around here it can go up and down like 10, 20 cents, 15 cents with no problem, back and forth. We have a lot of refineries over, within 100 or say 140 kilometers. We have a lot, we have about 5 or 6 refineries. So it seems odd that it does that, but it does. So you can see here Brent is going that way. We'll show you the crude oil too on the same beta, right there, same situation. It's trying, it's in the sell for a second day, and that's been in a buy for the 8 weeks also. Now we'll go over to natural gas on the beta. And we can take a look at it on both of those. You can see the natural gas is just hanging out down in that, 1.5, 175, I guess, trapped in between both areas, something like that. It's lighter, right around there, basically. It's just hanging there. So I don't have much more to say about it than that. So, the action that we see in natural gas is consistent. Let's put that energy company up from Spain. Let's see, where's that at? Let's see. Is there any? Options for today's expiration. Okay, yeah. So no one's put anything up on the chat line. Now let's go to right. Where is it at? Right there. There it is. So there's the energy company. It's dipping. It's like 1975, 1985, right around there. 1990. It's not getting pressed down, but natural gas. Until we see the end of this election, it's going to be very hard to trust anything we see at this point until after this election. Because once we see the election over with and Trump gets in, then we know that that's going to be very positive. What else is there? I guess that's about it when it comes to the energy sector. Now we'll go over and look at the global. Let's take a look at the global market. And let's see now, global markets. Let's look at the Nikkei. See what the Nikkei did last night. There it is right there. You can see the Nikkei off a little bit. Not by much, but off a little bit. That's the all-time high right there, yesterday. Daily buy for 5 days. Weekly buy for 10 full weeks. And then from there we'll go to the Kospi in South Korea. Let's see, where are you, Kospi? There it is. That's in a buy for 2 days. And firm, it was up today. Nice 27.50. And the weekly's been in a buy also for 10 weeks. So that's not backing off. And then from there, let's see, where do we go from there? We slide over to, let's look at the Taipei index. That's been in a buy for 5 days now. Keeps on climbing up. And 10 weeks in a buy. Doesn't look like it's going to get disturbed from that. And then we slide over to, let's see, Taipei. We will go over to the All Ordinaries Index in Australia. And that's also 10 weeks in a buy. See, it's 3 days in a buy. It's been climbing up. It's not taking out these highs of the beginning of March, but not doing too bad. It's looking all right there. And then we go over to the Nifty 50 in India, probably in Mumbai. And you can see right there, it lifted up today. And yesterday it looks like it was trying to get into a buy. And more than likely it's in the buy today for sure, because you see it's straddling both right there with the algorithm. And then from there we're going to go over to the the mainland, I guess you would call it. Let's look at the Hang Seng. The Hang Seng did get knocked down over 2% today. It's been in a sell for 6 days. So it's been in a sell since this spot right in here, right there. And but it didn't take, it took out the close here, but it didn't break down that bad, So they, I think it had to do more with that Evergrande situation. I think that really shook up a lot of people. They banned him from finance ever. And what else did they do? I think they arrested him, but they're saying that it was a $78 billion fraud. They can't find the money. I mean, they have the properties there. They're just overvalued, they said, by 70%. Wow. It's like an Enron situation. And then from there we go over to Hong Kong. Let's see what's going on in Hong Kong. Right there's the Hong Kong market. Backing off at the same way. Looks like it's heading back for that 95 area. It's in a sell for a couple of days. This is the second day. And the weekly is a weekly sell with no problem for a second week. And so that's pretty much the Asian market in general. I think we're going to try to get over the weekend. I'll try to put like the Philippines on there. Who else should we put on there? Yeah, I'd like to see what Vietnam has going on, because they're real economically getting their game together nicely. So definitely well worth looking at. Now from there, let's see, where do we go from there? Let's go over to Europa, and there is the DAX. You can see making a high today. It's been in a buy for 4 days now, just moving up like that, up and away. And let's see, where else are we with that? You can see the weeklies is 10 weeks in a buy, so very clean there. Let's take a look at the Paris index, the CAC 40. There it is there. Down for the day, but off its lows, and you can see it's flirting with the sell right there. It may be in the sell. We'll see on Monday. See how it looks, if it pushed itself into the sell. And you can see the weekly is 10 weeks in a buy, and it's not too concerned about it. It's not that bad. So then let's see what we got here. I just saw that. Evergrande remind of a local saying that says, if there are sheep, there will be sheep shearers. Yes. Yeah, boy, did they shear it all right. Next major fraud will Nigeria. I can bet that. Yeah, that's been issues too. It's kind of like, I agree with you, is that I've been hearing, and an economy develops as an economy develops, someone always does a Ponzi. Yep. Before China, it was Russia. Exactly. In the late 90s. Exactly. I understand that Nigeria is trying to join the BRICS. That, to me, I thought was a warning sign. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the week. The idea that when they start talking BRICS, you got to start worrying about what what's going on. You know what I mean? That always it's like a warning sign. That means that they can't do international banking so easily, because they've done damaging things to themselves. There's the FTSE. Ooh, nice pop there. That was yesterday and today, both strong, going for that 8,000 area, and 10 weeks also in a buy. And so, there's that when they started talking about who wants to join, who may join. They put 5 names out there, and the 2 that want to join right now is Nigeria, and I forget who the other one was in Africa. Somebody else in Africa or something like that. And I think it was Africa. And then the 3 that we're talking about, they threw Mexico in there again about how it ran away from it. It wanted to be in the BRICS, but then walked away from it and stayed back. And I think I forget who else they were saying. They were saying some others. The BRICS, anybody that joins the BRICS is going to have a lot of work to do because they have a lot of weak hands. And so, like all look at China and Russia and the BRIC, South Africa. I mean, the currency keeps on getting beat up more and more and more. I think it could be as much as 33% undervalued at this point. In other words, it's getting beat up from whatever is beating it up in the sense of the politics down there now. But it's surely not following the metals market anymore. That makes it really tough. So when someone says, I think we need to join the BRICS, you got to wonder, are they having international finance problems? They're going to be Bitcoin candidates forever. So that does that. Now let's jump over to the U.S. market and see what's going on in the U.S. market. There's the S&P 500. As we said, it's in a buy for 4 days now, and the weekly buy 10 weeks, no problem there. Let's look at the Tech 100. There's the Tech 100 right there. There's the Tech 100 doing the same thing, going on a 4th day there, and it's 2 weeks in a buy, going on a 3rd week. And then where is it? Let's see there it is right there. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's basically it is what is that? That is 4 days in a buy also, and it is last 2 weeks, or you could basically say something like 9 out of the last 10 weeks in a buy. So they flirted with a weekly sell in here and took that direction and jumped right back into that weekly buy 3 weeks back basically now, just about. It's 2 full weeks. So I guess what it comes down to also, we've been talking about the Fed a lot lately. The Fed has been, because they're just so involved anymore. It's in other words, I would talk about back in the old days, we'd talk about different funds, like Fidelity and so forth. Everybody would be paying attention to things like that, or Bear Stearns or Goldman Sachs. We'd be looking at all those things nowadays because they are not the major. Well, most of them are gone to begin with, but more than that is that we're looking at a situation here that is totally different. It's just a totally different times, and so we have a lot of action going on, and so we end up talking about the Federal Reserve. Let's see. So I guess today's title will be is that central banks. How about that? Like we'll talk about, instead of saying the Fed, because I'm always saying the Fed. So we'll say something like central banks. Why do I not get a C out of this thing? C. There it is. Central banks hold markets firm until they don't. And that'll be the title today. And it just seems to be the fact of life at this point. It just doesn't seem to stop. It just does not stop. It just does not. So, anyway, traders, this is Doc from North America. We will see you Monday. And Janos, is there a webinar on Friday, on Good Friday, or Monday of the following week? April 1st or something like that? When do the markets close in Europe because of the holidays? I guess we'll talk about it next week. But. Let's see. Manipulation. Central banks prop up market manipulation. Let's to clickbait false titles. Click. No idea. I know that Friday and Monday we still have people on duty in Geneva. I am kicked out to go to the countryside. Just let me know if I'm doing webinars on either day, and we'll go from there. All right. So that is about it. Happy trails. Just to remind it. We can arrange the whole thing next week. Okay, I will. All right. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Everybody have a safe and smart weekend. We will catch you on Monday. Ta-ta for now.